At Essence, we have a shared goal to help others live happier, healthier lives each and every day. We began with a simple thought. What if we could utilize the benefits of essential oils at any time of day? Using essential oils is a common practice, but being able to discreetly use them at work, on the go, and whenever you need was an issue we wanted to solve. With Essence, we have. Essence is a high-grade silicone nose ring infused with quality essential oils. We designed them specifically to sit comfortably at the base of your nose, almost completely out of view. The Essence rings provide a wide array of scents, from refreshing citrus to get you through the smellier parts of your day, to hand-curated formulas that relieve anxiety, stress, or combat troublesome allergy symptoms. We also have scent-free diffuser rings that allow you to infuse your essential oil blend for an experience completely unique to you. Our mission is to uplift your soul, spirit, and life to improve the way you experience each day. Whether it's to help you sleep, to clear your mind, or simply to reap the benefits of essential oils wherever you go, Essence is here to lift your soul, your spirit, and your life.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tami Deleeuw. I'm CFO and co-founder of Essence. I would like to welcome you to the International Luxury Hotel Association's webinar on 2023 Luxury Travel Trends, moderated by myself with panelists Hermann, Elger, CEO, Forbes Travel Guide, Christof, Pignet, Vice President of Client Experience at Linx, and Leah, Crump, founder and CEO of Leah Crump Consulting. Today's webinar is brought to you by the Essence Rings. The Essence Ring is an innovative personal essential oil nasal diffuser that promotes health and wellness anywhere, anytime. Travel is all about experience, and the Essence Ring is the perfect way to enhance yours. It's comfortable to wear and provides hours of aromatherapy benefits while en route or at your destination. Let's get started with today's discussion on 2023 luxury travel trends. Hermann, we'll start with you. What will luxury travel look like in 2023?
Thank you, Tami. It's great to be with all of you. That's a great question, and there's different perspectives from which to look at it. But the data that we have, and from where we are sitting, we see travel in 2023, especially in the luxury segment, growing. Continuing to grow, specifically because of demand drivers that are not necessarily in place yet. We are still waiting for a lot of our high-end corporate travel to come back, group travel to come back. In addition to that, we are still awaiting a lot of travel out of China to restart again. So we feel that this is going to bode well for the luxury hotels, resorts, destinations who are experiencing some amazing demand right now, but look for that to continue in the coming year.
Christof, I know you work more in the private industry. How do you think things are changing there? What does luxury look like going into next year?
Thank you very much for having me as well, and nice to be here with such wonderful industry luminaries. Private aviation, we continue to see an increased demand ever since the pandemic. There's been a lot of first-time flyers, a lot of people that have decided to go into private aviation, not just necessarily for the comfort and convenience, but also a lot of times for security. Security and safety has become an even more prevalent, I don't want to say issue because it's not an issue per se, although a factor, I would say. And when you're comparing, for example, a commercial airline passenger is exposed to over 700 touch points during their journey, while when you're traveling privately, there's only about 20 touch points. And with that being said, it's an entirely different experience. So I do feel that the trend of private air travel will continue well into 2023, and then also beyond that. We see a lot of families traveling, a lot of multi-generational travel, and the demand continues to be very strong.
So that leads into the good point that, consumer behavior has changed drastically over the last couple of years. And Leah, how do you think that will impact travel going into 2023?
Yeah, I think that with the droves of folks having come back online over the past few years since coming off of COVID, so to speak, the expectation of excellence is still there with the underlying nature of having safety behind that, such as Christof was saying. And thanks everyone for having me as well, by the way. I think that people have the expectation of excellence throughout all of their experiences and outlets through resort. And with my experience being out in the field, I find that time and all of the different properties that I visit, that the old standby people that have been working in luxury for a long time are also being met by a new level of staffing that are fairly new to hospitality. So we're working to have both of those areas meet and bring everyone up to the standards of 4- and 5-star service that the guests are expecting.
Awesome. Christof, what do you feel like some of the trends and opportunities are as we're driving into this recovery?
I think we're looking, especially in our clientele, for personalized experiences. Nobody's looking for cookie cutter. Everyone wants things that are customized, that are personalized. And in order to do that, I think it's important for the staff and the team members also to be aware of the need and the want of our clients. And so a lot of times what we work with our teams on is emotional intelligence. I think that's become a much more important factor, especially with a greater focus on physical and also on mental health too, as a result of the pandemic, but just in general. So to make sure that our team understands that we really listen and empathize with our clients, make sure that we hear them, understand what it is that they're looking for, and then really treat them the way they want to be treated and not just the way we want them to be treated.
That's awesome. As we move into recovery, do you guys feel like there's, this still large desire for safety and security around, the different health measures that have been in place since COVID? I know, Hermann, you probably have a good insight into how are those affecting the way consumers come back and look for that?
Sure. We played a big role in the recovery through our Share Care Verified with Health Security solution, which we worked with hotels in nearly 100 countries on that. And what we're seeing after is that certainly not a priority in the way it was during the pandemic. It is not necessarily something that guests are looking for to be in place first and foremost when making their travel decisions or when staying in a property. But we do encourage hotels not to let go of those great lessons learned, and absolutely encourage hotels not to fall into that big mistake of having relics of health security protocols around that are not being properly maintained. Guests will, in the back of their mind, we believe, have an eye on this and have been conditioned to want to look for that confirmation that a hotel or a destination is safe to visit, whether or not it's a priority. So a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of great practices came out of this. So we should make it not an opportunity that was lost, but continue to maintain that. God forbid, should it be needed again, but more importantly, when a client looks to that as a validation or a security blanket that in addition to everything else, the property is safe to visit and protocols are in place.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that COVID introduced into the forefront of people's minds is around health and safety. And I think a big part of that is wellness. So how do you feel like has there been a growing trend in wellness within the hospitality industry, and why do you believe this is? Leah, maybe you can.
Yes, happy to speak to that. Wellness being my complete field for a long time now, I've seen it go from many years ago, a adjunct outlet, to now being an expectation. And that goes well beyond having a spa in the far end of a property, but that goes to your fitness, your mental health well-being, and even the food and beverage outlets having more wellness-oriented offerings across all levels in the outlets is extremely important. We're seeing by the data for the guests, and that will certainly continue to grow in 2023.
Hermann, travel used to be a way to kind of escape your life, but I think wellness has definitely become an integrated part of travel. How do you feel like, consumers are approaching wellness, and how are luxury hotels able to capitalize on that kind of wellness way of life?
Well, certainly wellness is an important factor, which is now an expectation within the hotel experience, whether it be menu items or availability of spa treatments, ways to sleep better within the room. But we also see a trend where not just wellness, but travel is a part of your journey to well-being. So it's a factor that helps you stay on that journey to well-being when you eagerly anticipate and prepare for a vacation, because we know that people tend to amp up their health journey in anticipation of a vacation in many cases. And then is a vacation something that keeps you on your journey to well-being, not take you off of that journey? So are you able to continue your healthy practices when you're on vacation? And at the end of the day, do you come back a more well-rounded, well-balanced, more focused individual, having made travel a part of your overall well-being journey? So I do believe that travel should be a catalyst in your journey to well-being, helping you be the best that you can be. And those elements that exist within the experience are key to keeping you on that journey, whether you're traveling or not.
Perfect. So, speaking to the actual experience, Christof, are there, specific things that you guys are, implementing or changing within your specific industry to help bring wellness to the forefront?
I'd say two things to answer that question. One of them is the fact that Linx has these executive lounges and terminals that we have at private airports in key cities all throughout the country. And that kind of brings the old mantra of it's the journey, not the destination, to the forefront, because it allows everyone to relax and be at peace and take some time before they're actually going on the plane and flying, while in many other places you have to go through a public FBO and there's other people around and there's just a lot of distractions that are not necessarily helping and assisting with your personal wellness. We also have offerings from a health standpoint, whether that is healthy treats, healthy snacks, healthy beverages for our clients. And it all again goes back to what is it that you are looking for. We have the ability to really personalize that experience, and we're doing that in many different ways. Secondly, we also have an elevated lifestyle program. And as part of that elevated lifestyle program, we work with many partners that allow our clients to, again, personalize a wellness experience. One of them, for example, is Reset Telluride, where you can literally customize an entire wellness getaway to your personal liking. And that can include hikes, that can include workouts, that can include massage, treatment, spa, whatever it is that you're looking for. We want to make sure that we're able, if we're not the person providing it to you, we can make sure that we can connect with someone that is able to provide you that wellness experience at the highest level as well.
Amazing. Leah, I know you work a lot in this space as well, on kind of the spas and the luxury side within the hotel. What feedback do you have on making that personalization or adding that personalization touch to the luxury travel space?
Yeah, and everything Christof was sharing, I would even say there's such an expansive myriad of trends and experiences on the horizon, almost all of which are directly tied into technology. So as we can, whatever amount of those are encapsulated into a resort guest experience or travel experience, we're going to find that technology is involved, whether that's from what we know now as having an iPad in the room or online check-ins, all of the kind of baseline service standards that have been coming into play. That's going to certainly expand more. You'll see that more in treatment rooms, in-room experiences as well. Having the technology merge with well-being experiences, whether that's mental health, fitness health, or treatments. And with that, there's also people running the tech behind there. So again, it's that personalization and that keeping up with the technology and the guests' demands and expectations at this point to be able to meet them where they're at.
Amazing. I think, Hermann, you probably have a really good insight as well into kind of the personalization of that luxury space. What kind of trends are you guys seeing?
Within the luxury space, as far as personalization, we're seeing a big shift toward experiences, more bespoke created experiences. And similar to the property you see behind me, which is our Forbes Travel Guide Center for Excellence in France, we're seeing a little bit of a shift towards private retreat experiences and stays, where you can have your own space. And that may have been a byproduct of the pandemic and wanting to travel in maybe a more health secure environment, but we're seeing a big push toward private retreat experiences as well. We do see a lot across the board in terms of special touches, but what we're seeing more than that is the special touches, which were an expectation prior to the pandemic, are being put back into the hotel experience. Maybe many of them which went away under the the COVID and the health security requirements. So really seeing hotels put back a lot of those special touches that went away during the pandemic.
Perfect. The travel industry has definitely gone through its bumps and roadblocks throughout, COVID and the pandemic. And as we look at, forecasting into kind of a different future, it's a little unstable. How do you guys feel like you can forecast that? How do you feel like you can, prepare for what is to come?
I don't think anybody really has the crystal ball, but something that we're all aware is that we have just grown increasingly aware of our own mortality as a result of the pandemic, and also realized that time is a finite resource. And so we're looking to see how can we do things differently moving forward. And I think we also see that with our clients, and we see that with travelers just in general. Travelers are asking companies tough questions. They want to know what they're doing to be responsible stewards of the planet. They want to know what they're doing for their employees. What are you doing to make sure that their well-being physically and mentally is guaranteed? So we get a lot of those questions from our clients, and we have a lot of programs and wonderful things in place and amenities that we're offering also to our team members as well. And I think as a whole, as a society, we've definitely had a little bit of a reckoning overall, and I think that will not change. It's just going to be more and more going in the direction of sustainable tourism, in the direction of being able to not just care for and about our planet, but also care for and about each other.
So, Hermann, any thoughts on kind of how to forecast this different future?
Yeah, I'll join Christof in not having access to the crystal ball, but I would like to touch on what he mentioned. During the pandemic, the focus was on health security, and a lot of the sustainability initiatives that were so important to guests when selecting a hotel were understandably put aside, as the priority was making hotels safe to visit. I do see that as a shift which is coming back very quickly. At Forbes Travel Guide, we don't call it sustainability, we call it responsibility, and we're working very hard to be able to provide solutions and options where a client is able to select hotels knowing that that hotel makes responsible tourism a priority. But at the same time, the value proposition of these high-end luxury experiences is not lost. There needs to be a balance between responsibility and the commitment to the client as far as delivering the value within that high-end luxury experience. And there is a way to do that. It just needs to be very delicately woven together to be able to achieve both. And that is, I believe, going to be an important trend going forward as the clients go back to really seeking a sustainable or responsible hotel partner or destination when they choose their travel.
Perfect. Leah, any insights from you on how the future is looking?
Yes, final thoughts for me would be completely mirroring what the gentlemen are sharing. Humanity and humility within that. We're all hospitality people, and especially in particular, luxury travel and luxury properties. These are truly the best of the best people that we're working with day in and day out on the line, all the way up to the executive level. We're folks that care and want to see things through from the start to the beginning, from the start to the end. Mirroring everything else with the sustainability, we know that is the data is showing now that guests really would prefer sustainability, and they'd like to see how that is shining through. And then safety, whether that's in the background and they're knowing that certain touch points are being completed, whether they can see it or not, is extremely important as well. And there's a lot of safety and security within those measures. So we will continue to see that being a big part of travel in 2023, and as well as that humanity and that realizing humans are humans and we're not all robots. So I think people are maybe growing their hearts a little bit after all of this, which is a good thing, I think.
It is nice to see people interacting again and getting back out into the world. Kind of in closing, I would like to get each of your thoughts, maybe just on what you foresee as the biggest opportunity going into 2023 in each of your respective, areas. If there was one, piece of advice that you could leave people with, maybe what that would be. Christof, you willing to start?
Put me on the spot. There's so many opportunities out there. From the private air travel sector, I would say that a lot of times people should really take a closer look at the product that they're purchasing and not necessarily just buy because somebody's telling you something looks great on the outside, or maybe it sounds great, or maybe all the numbers look really enticing, but that's not ultimately what it could come out to. And so I think making responsible choices and also doing their due diligence when they are traveling, when they're electing a carrier, when they're looking to create or start really a relationship with someone for years to come, that is not just the short-term benefit, but also really translates into a long-term beneficial mutual partnership. So that's one thing I think I would encourage people to do, just because there's a lot out there, a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of things that you're being told will be one way, but then they end up being another. So a lot of times it pays off to do a little bit more of due diligence to really select the right person who not only tells you all the things you want to hear, but actually has your best interest at heart.
Awesome. Yeah, trust is very important. Hermann, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity this year as the pent-up demand and people have been able to travel and get those vacations taking place, maybe going to destinations they're more familiar with. The opportunity now lies to begin to branch out a little bit and explore and go out there and maybe go to some of these places that are less visited or may not have been at the top of your list. From the hotel perspective, I really encourage hotels to take very seriously the fact that rates are very high and clients are spending a lot of money, but not lose sight of that value proposition and make sure that all the bells and whistles and services and details are there to ensure that the client is seeing great value within these high rates and that they're paying within the experience. So travel, explore, try new things, and for the hotels, really make sure we're going above and beyond for the clients as they're really willing to pay these high rates, but let's make sure they're getting everything they're paying for.
Love it. Leah, any insights from you?
Yeah, Hermann, that was so great. Those are conversations I have day in and day out with operators, is back up these high rates and how, right? So how can we, especially when guests are coming and maybe experiencing somewhere that's different or somewhere that's new for them, and hopefully at the beginning of a wonderful long-term coming back year after year relationship, I think it's time to get a little bit outside of the box and a little bit more creative with the programming at hotels. I think guests have expectations of what a certain, whether it's a destination resort, whether it's a city hotel, and whether it's a private island, people have a sense generally of what to expect, but I think it's a little bit time to be a little bit more creative and get more bespoke, get more, put the ear to the ground to listen to what some of those trends are that are maybe regionally or locally or sustainably make sense for that area. And I would love to see more openness towards something like that next year. And I think the groundwork has been laid to do so.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys all for participating in our discussion. I think it's been a very informative session, and appreciate you so much for being willing to come and to talk to us today about these luxury trends.